What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rapheal Davis podcast. This week, make sure you check out me and AJ Hammonds. We'll be at the Lafayette Kickoff Bash on Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. in West Lafayette. This week, we got a special guest joining us, Boilermaker legend, a name that rings a lot of bells, a name that you hear about before you get to campus, whether now or then or whenever. Everybody, Kelsey Barlow. What's up, Kelsey? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for that introduction, man. I appreciate that.
No, straight up. Listen, so Kelsey, I just want to jump right into it. I know a lot about you a little bit just from my father growing up in Indianapolis, knowing you at Purdue, kind of following you even after Purdue. But just kind of want to take it back to the very beginning. I know your father played ball. So what was that like coming up, having a father that played ball? Was that kind of where you got your introduction to basketball?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the year I was born, they won the championship. So I think I could feel some of that energy as well. But yeah, I mean, I used to go to his games, his practices, like as much as I could. So that was pretty much definitely my introduction to basketball. I thought everyone else's parents had basketball players as parents. That's how much I was thinking, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was 100% my introduction to basketball.
Did you travel a lot as a kid, or did you grow up in Indianapolis, or what was that like?
Yeah. I was born in Greece. I lived there for like 3 years, 3 school semesters or whatever. And then in the summers would come back to the States. And then after like age 3, I think we moved to Italy for like the next 7 years or so. And so I went to school in Italy. I went to like the actual Italian school, not like an international school or whatever. And so then I went to like middle school, like 5th grade, middle school, and high school in Indianapolis. Yeah.
What was that like? Just I guess school in Italy. Do you remember anything about it, or any
Yeah.
differences from American school?
Yeah, it's way different, man. I never got adjusted to American school, to be honest with you. So like you go to school 6 days a week. So you go Monday through Saturday. And then like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you go to school from like 9 to 5, right? And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you go to school from like 9 to 12, right? So the days you go 9 to 5, you go from like 9 to 12, then you get like 2.5 hours off for lunch, and then you come back, do like a little afternoon session. So when I started going to school in the States, bro, like you get like 20 minutes for lunch, bro. And then they make you go back to class. I was sleeping for the next hour, bro. I never figured that one out. But yeah,
Did
that's like one of the main difference from structure standpoint.
did Just out of curiosity, like when you came back, because obviously that would be a big adjustment. When you
Yeah.
came back, did the teachers or did the schools, did they understand that you were trying to make that adjustment, or was you just in trouble all the time?
Come on, man. I'm black, right? I'm not really the race guy, so I'm just saying this. I'm black. My name is Kelsey, and I say, hey, I'm from Italy, bro. They're not believing one of the 3 things, bro. You know what I mean? First day of class, I raised my hand, Kelsey Barlow. They're like, oh, you must be the class clown. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? I'm like, bruh, because most people at that time with the name
Right.
Kelsey were female or whatever. So yeah, between the 3, they weren't believing too much anything. You know what I mean? Until my dad showed up, he's like 6'10". So yeah, until he showed up, man, it was like this dude is just Pinocchio in here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's what's up. That's a cool ass story, man. So then you start to. So did you hoop when you were in Italy at a young age, or were you playing
Oh,
different sports?
man, I was hooping at 100. I mean, I did everything, like, well, a lot. I did like horses.
Yeah.
I rode horses like equestrian style, not like racing. Um, I played the piano. I did like ballet. I did like a bunch. My mom made me do like a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
just forcing me into it. You know what I mean? But I liked most of it. But I ended up just liking basketball more because that was like the only time I can spend with my dad if I caught him like at a game or in practice and stuff. So when you're that age, and I think my dad was pretty much one of the best players, if not the best player on each of his teams, first round draft pick, playing overseas, big ego at the time. Um, the way he talked about like other players, I felt like I'm like they garbage, you know what I mean? So as a kid, like man, like when it came to basketball, I thought, yeah, at least if I wasn't a starter, I should be a sixth man on a professional team. That's how I was thinking, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's how I was living in Italy for sure. Just all basketball for the most part.
And having that confidence instilled in you and kind of feeling that way about yourself when you came back, when you came to America,
Yeah.
how was that integrating into basketball over here? Kind of the new kid on the block.
That was tough, man. That was tough because I grew up, in the suburbs like Carmel, and then in Italy, I'm like, it's a different culture. But so my dad had me go play out in the Gardens where pretty much everyone who's a pro over 24 has played at the Gardens. Bruh. And like that's when I got really introduced to like trash talking and like false threats. You know what I mean? Like you know how dudes are talking when you play like, oh, you from Carmel, da, 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 like it's like I'm like, is this guy gonna beat me up on the court? Is he gonna beat me up? So I used to be timid for probably it took me like 2 years to get out of that timidness. And then like once I like kind of got going, I just started playing the numbers of it and it became pretty easy, I would say.
What you mean playing the numbers?
So like in 8th grade, I think our team was like 4th in the country or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like I had one dude on my team was like 7th in the country. So I saw how they were ranking players. So I was like, all right, they're basically ranking at that. In 8th grade, they rank up to like 250. And then in high school, they go like 100. And then they spread it out to 150 or something like that. So I was like, all right, like all the high major schools are like the top 50 schools in the country, give or take, right? And I'm like, if I'm on the 4th best team in the country, I'm sure I'm coming off the bench. That puts me at like a low mid-major if I'm doing the numbers as far as scholarships per year and like, how many players are like playing and like where do I rank in the midst of all these players. So like right around the 8th grade, I started being able to figure out like the valuable tournaments, like and how you pretty much get recruited and stuff like that.
Dang, that's tough. That's tough. That's tight. I had in 8th grade, none of that.
Nah, I mean, my dad was a player, so like
no
I was looking at basketball stuff anyway. But I was just like, I mean, if you're top 100, they give out 3 scholarships, per team. That's like 3 per team, top 30. That's like 90, puts you at like the top 30 teams for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy. I
was like off the bench, top 4 team in the country. That's low mid-major. So I put Purdue and Rutgers on there. So I was like, those are pretty low, like they were weak, high major teams at the time. Yeah. So I was like, I fit right in right in there, right?
And so what you play a Cathedral, you guys are pretty good Cathedral, right?
I mean, we're all right. We won city like every year, but we never got out of sectionals. So I don't know what that defines as.
And why Purdue? Because at that time, like you said, I mean, Purdue was kind of on the come up at the time. So what made Purdue your choice? Were you being recruited by other schools? And kind of why ultimately you led there?
Yeah, like I said, I was doing the math for the most part. And so I was like, all right, like I'm pretty much getting like half the Big Ten, pretty much all mid-majors in the Midwest, like a few, outliers from all over the country. But I pretty much had as much as you can get in the Midwest outside of like Ohio State and maybe, one big school like that. I don't know, Michigan State, maybe like that. And so I was looking at it from a social standpoint more so than anything. I'm like, most of my friends are pretty much going to go to IU or Purdue. We have like a 99.9% graduation rate. 50% go to IU or Purdue. Other 50 go somewhere else. So most of my friends are going to IU or Purdue. So I pretty much had like cut it down to that. And I didn't really feel like going through the whole recruiting process, to be honest with you. Like going on an unofficial every weekend didn't really seem too appealing to me, bro. So like at that point, I was like, all right, I got to make a decision before I'm just driving with my dad every weekend, bro, going to one of these schools. And at that time, I thought each school had like the same amount of resources. That's one thing I had wrong. I thought like everyone was pretty much having the same sort of day, same sort of resources. Obviously, that's not the case, but that was like the one part of my math I had wrong.
I feel that. I definitely understand. I was the same way. I committed after my first high major visit. I committed after Purdue. I
Yeah,
committed on my drive home from Purdue. It was my freshman year still. So like
yeah,
the recruiting process wasn't for me either. I hated it.
yeah,
Yeah, I hate like and I feel you too on the driving on the highway with my dad. I definitely feel that. Like it's definitely the official unofficial visits. I get exactly what you're saying. I was taking those. But while you were at Purdue as a freshman, you came in, you guys won some games, you played with some good players. Any memories from that year stick out when you were coming in? Because you made, if I'm not mistaken, you made all freshman team, right?
yeah. I was more shocked than anyone on the planet. I'll tell you for sure. I was like, "Whoa, dude, what is everyone else doing around here?" You know what I mean? So, but no, I'll say like, well, before I got to Purdue, like in maybe I want to say May or something like that, it was, I believe it was Keaton Grant, Juwan Johnson, and I all working out at this guy, Ed Schilling's. And then there were some pre-draft guys like I believe it was Luke Zeller, Jeff Teague, and a few other guys. So that was like my first like, because I was just seeing how everyone was playing in that unique scenario.
Right.
And then when I got to Purdue, it was competitive. I felt like it was, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but like the weight program a little bit was, I mean, it was a little different before. You guys had Josh, right?
Yeah, I had Josh.
Yeah, there's a guy before. He would have us in there, bro. Like, bro, I'm like, yo, I can't feel my arms. I could like, I just felt so dead, bro. You know what I mean? And so like all that was going on. So I was kind of clouded, I would say. Like, you know how you first get to college, you're like, man, I don't even know. Like, am I committed to this? Like, you're having all those questions, like whatever, whatever. And so I didn't really know like the first few months. But then I remember like school started back up. There were more students on campus, and we had like a Friday open gym at like 5. And like everyone was kind of lollygagging, ready to do Friday night activities before, season starts and stuff like that. It must have been like 6 o'clock. I think Keaton Grant like tossed the ball, like challenged a few people to a fight. And he was like, listen, if y'all want to like go party and stuff like that, like you can leave right now. But we're over here stacking it up saying Final Four or whatever. Like we're here to play basketball, blah, blah, blah. And so everyone kind of like, and he was like calling people out. Like, we're just like, hold up, bro. What's the deal? And so it got serious, bro. We played until like 9:30, 10 o'clock, bro. I swear. So like after that, I was like, yeah, everyone here is like trying to win right now. So, you just wanted to get on the court and like give your best to like be involved. You know what I mean? Because like with that mentality, you're playing from 5 to 9:30, 10, bro. Like you're obviously committed to whatever is going on. So that was probably as my freshman year, that's like something outside of a game or even like under Coach Painter's umbrella that happened that I was like, yeah, I think everyone's want to like sacrifice to like win or whatever.
Oh, that's real. That's we had a few of those moments my junior year. No, but that's important. So you had leaders like Keaton Grant, I think. Other Kramer was there, Rob, Juwan.
Yeah.
Etwan. So I'm gonna ask you a question. I wasn't even thinking this before, but if you go 1-on-1 King of the Hill to 5,
yeah,
who wins on your team?
It's different. That's a tough question. From a guard standpoint, I'm taking myself 100% of the time. Because like I couldn't shoot really at Purdue, right? But Coach Painter makes you press up.
Yeah.
Like, he makes you press up, bro. And I think I had to be the best defender on that team. There's a few arguments towards Kramer, Lewis, and even Juwan carrying the paint, but I feel like I had to be the best defender. Yeah, I'm taking myself 1-on-1. And then each one really didn't want that kind of smoke. Like in a 5-on-5, each one's definitely cooking it up because he sees the floor from every angle. But And a one-on-one so direct and you got to press, especially like at Purdue, I'm taking myself. Between Juwan and Rob would be tough for the bigs. Like everyone else is not close to Juwan and Rob. Like Juwan used to sit out of practice because the other bigs just weren't competitive enough for him, bro. I promise, bro. You'd be doing, you know how guard drills go, bro. So you're going through like padded ball screen after ball screen, then to play one-on-one or something, you know. And then you look down, Juwan's just drinking water, bro. He had dunked on him 10 straight times. Like, so he wasn't even practicing. So, but Rob was real ignorant too. Like people think Rob was just, oh, this good guy. Rob is a competitor. I remember Rob came back from USA my freshman year. He said, I think two of the freshman bigs were on him. He said, yeah, I'm just gonna post up. Like they can't guard me out here on this league, bro. And he posted up, bro. This is back brace and all, bro. I was like, who is this dude? He's talking crazy. But I don't know. Like one-on-one guard, I'll definitely take myself, but big is between Rob and Juwan.
I feel that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
While you were at Purdue, what's your most the game that you remember most? Who was the team that you looked on the schedule, or you seen the scouting report, maybe your sophomore year after you played them your freshman year, the matchup that you wanted, rather be a player or a team?
I don't really. It was probably more a team. I didn't really like too many players. Like we played Evan Turner, but I was like, I mean, I don't know how he's doing this to everybody. I wasn't a believer, you know what I mean? Like Draymond Green the same way. Like I'm like, I see him doing good, but I just don't know how he's doing it. So those were like the two best players, but everyone else, I don't know. The best probably two games I would say was probably Tennessee in the Virgin Islands. Yeah, that's probably the best one because we had to win to play them. And they were talking crazy like the whole week in the hotel, bro. So
I seen them in the hotel.
Yeah, you know, like when you go to like those tournaments, everyone's at the same hotel. And so like the whole week, like at breakfast, they're saying like little slick stuff like y'all better win. Y'all probably not going to though. Like, you know, like doing us like that. So I think Etuan, Juwan, and Rob, all of them just killed, bro. It was pretty good. That was probably a good one. And then maybe West Virginia when they went to the Final Four was a pretty good game. But I mean, outside of that, you know, those are pretty thick scouting reports going into the games, man. For me, like it was a blur. I couldn't tell the difference between two of those games.
No, I feel that. And one more question, just about kind of your experience at Purdue, is that I got to hear it from you. What was your fastest mile time?
Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I think I might have got like 5 minutes, like 5 or something like that. But yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
It was before you?
Nah, bro, I just do the math. So we had some walk-on dude, Bubba Day. Yeah. He was a walk-on, and like you know how walk-ons are in a way. I hate to say this like it's a different species, but you know, the walk-on is not gonna allow him the way Coach Pater picks a walk-on, that guy's not gonna allow himself to fail. You know what I mean? Right. He's gonna make the time every time. His ego is not in a place to not make the time, right? Like, so we had this dude, he had played soccer and he was a walk-on. I'm like, bro, I'm just following this dude, bro. I'm just following him, bro. And then I'll just give him my best the last lap. That's just kind of how I ran it. So I don't, because the mile's hard if you don't have like a good pace, bro.
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? But like, if you can just follow somebody, like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was on with it for sure. I was like, yeah, he's gonna make it. Like, he's a walk on. You know?
He was Bubba was our John McKeeman there. Everybody knew John McKeeman will make it every time.
Yeah, like
he used to write the times on his hands.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So something like that, 5:05. But
in my sophomore year, I ran it like 10 times.
10 times.
Sophomore year was tough. Every other year I made it. Sophomore year was also the year we came in last place. So like my fault, I think probably the first time, probably more people didn't make it than did. Like you had myself, this is sophomore. You had myself, Tyrone, Ronnie, Jay Simpson, AJ,
Just the way you said those names.
Donnie Hale. Like,
Oh, geez.
I don't know Donnie. Yeah, like no Donnie. I don't think Donnie actually made it to the mile that year. So it just was a lot going on. We had a rough year.
You
Yeah, I
were
ran it like 8 times.
fast.
We ran this so long. We were running this so much that year that I ended up making it inside the indoor track because it was too cold to go outside. And then I
Oh,
remember Tyrone and Jay and Ronnie Film had to go outside in their coats. And it was in October by this time.
bro, that's rough.
It was a lot going on. But all in all, from your experience at Purdue to your experience at USC, I mean, because you went on to have a good career at USC.
Yeah.
What was kind of your most memorable moment in your college basketball career? And if it's something that you could tell yourself before going into school that maybe someone's listening to right now in high school to learn from, what would it be?
Wow. Most memorable moment. I would probably have to say, yeah, probably after we beat Penn State for the Big Ten championship.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just like, you remember what happened after the game, you remember what happened during, you remember the nervous feeling, I remember like pretty much everything. Yeah, that was definitely the most, because I mean, then you win, and then like, I don't know, it just kind of sticks with you. Like when you lose, or even like personal statistics for me don't really stick with me so much, but like a significant win, and then when you're obviously the best in the whole league is pretty significant. But something I would tell myself like before, if I went to college again or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know, maybe like, this may sound weird, but like, how like when you get to college or even when you get to high school, or like that new opportunity, that new situation, and like there's that whole buildup from other people as to like what's hard, what's easy, like where the power is, and I would say I'm almost like put that noise out and just take everything for what it is. I think sometimes in college I just put credit in the wrong places at the wrong time, and then I'm looking back like not doing it correctly, in my opinion, something like that. Like, because if you like go in, you're like, this is going to be the hardest thing in my life, or, this player's so good, or this coach is so tough, you might hear it, or you might process the information differently than just taking it head on.
Well, that's real. Dang, I like that. No, that's real. And then, I mean, obviously after you finish up your career, you go on to play pro ball.
Yeah.
And where have you played? Where are you playing now? What's been your favorite place you've played?
Yeah. I played in the G League. I played in France. I played in Greece, Turkey, Argentina. Yeah, that might be it. I think so. Something like that.
What's been your favorite stop?
Man, I don't know, man. Argentina was pretty fun, man. Like, Argentina was really like, dude, I won like 3 games. I shot like 5 for 27, 6 for 30, 7 for 32, bro. Like, in Argentina, we won all 3 games. So, like, from that, bro, I was like, how the hell did we win? And I just shot 5 for 27. That was pretty fun. But like, Turkey's probably from a competitive, decent stage. That's pretty fun. But I would say as a professional, the TBT was by far not even comparable to most fun basketball I've played as a professional. It's not even close.
What was that like getting back out there? I mean, you playing with Purdue again. You playing for former teammate, and now this year especially, you had more of the guys that you played with back on the court with you. So what was that like?
Man, it was. I mean, just from practice to the meetings to the game and everything like that. Like, Yeah, it was fun. It was like super fun, bro. Like, and then you're playing like 7 p.m. on ESPN, bro. Like, so the energy around it, you can feel it. Obviously, like if you play overseas, for example, no one's watching, and you might get like a few texts from someone in the States, like, "Oh, how'd the game go?" or "I saw you played," or some little something that is like you're just gonna respond and forget about it. But like going into the games, like you're like, well, everyone my age pretty much goes to a bar on Friday or something like that. They're gonna probably be watching the game. It's on ESPN, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And you can feel it. So, and then playing with like Rob, I thought, like, because he was like the marquee guy for our team. Like he's doing all the stuff. You get me? I felt like he wore that leadership role. Like I liked how he went about it, to be honest. Like, I don't know about his points and all that. Obviously, he played well, but like just how he went about it, like, like his approach to it, I was like, this dude is respectable. You know what I mean? Like, so that was tight too. Like, just the way he goes, the way he goes about the game. I don't know if I've played with a pro that goes about it as well as him, and I've played with some pretty decent pros, like in different scenarios. Like the only pro that's I've played with that goes about it a little bit better than him, but it's close. It's probably like Paul George, bro. You know what I mean?
For someone that doesn't play the game or haven't played the game, what do you mean by that when you say how he goes about the game?
Like, so it's not. It's like, sure, you might be on the same team, but it's not even, right? Even at the professional level, if one player makes more than the other, there's some difference in value, some difference in responsibility. Obviously, there's outliers to the curve, but so I felt like the way Rob came in, the way he took it seriously at times, the way he was light about it at times, like the way he got his shots up, the way he was focused, just his approach, just his being, like his aura, like everything about it, like it meant something to him, you know what I mean? And he wanted to be the best at it, in my opinion. And that's sometimes it, because you can tell, like sometimes, no matter the talent level, someone may come in with the already predetermined excuse, point finger, insecurity, whatever it was. And I felt like the way Rob came to the game, like he was like, I'm owning it. I'll attack it, whether the dude scores on me or not. Like I'll chirp the ref, just, I'm the guy on the team. Like I felt like that was probably the most impressive thing to see, you know what I mean? And you're like, damn, like he's going at his ass, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, so that was pretty tight. But everyone was cool. Ryan coaching was great. Like,
What's
to
that
see
like
that.
for a teammate?
Huh?
What's that like playing for a teammate?
Dude, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really look at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of like, this is the coach, I'm the player, you know what I mean? He's not shooting one ball out here. You feel what I'm saying? He's not. You know, I might shoot 20 of these boys out here. You know what I mean? Dude, that's all I try to do is simplify it. I mean, it's not real. It's not, I'm gonna take his advice, I'm gonna take his coaching or whatever. But like, so I didn't really see it as like a teammate. I felt like, shit, I'd probably rather have him over just about every professional coach I've had so far. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen some people overseas. I'm like, they're like, hey, I'm the coach. I'm looking over to see if there's another guy. I'm like, ain't no way this is the coach right now, bro. Ain't no way.
That's hilarious, man.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how think, even in the NBA, like, you see how some players do coaches. They're like, ain't no way it's this guy, bro. No way, bro. So, yeah, no, I thought Ryan was legit. I thought he was good. I thought he kept the energy levels and everything together. You know what I mean?
Oh.
If we had a couple more, it's tough, because if we had that same team, it would be hard for us to lose next season, I think.
Think so.
No, but if you add more Purdue guys, it's a different dynamic as well. You know what I mean?
You get AJ healthy to play. You get, long shot. You get Juwan or someone.
Why is that a long shot, man?
See, I did that on purpose. So you think Juwan to play?
I call him, man. I call this guy, he's smarter than I am. So, you're talking to me. You get me? But I'm calling him like, bro, like, why would you not? But he's smarter than me, so we gotta respect his.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't know, because at a minimum, you're playing on ESPN at 7 p.m. on Friday, bro. Like,
No
you're
fact.
it's too fun, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, because I remember last year we were thinking, because I helped Ryan get a little bit, but last year again, Rob was a long shot. And then,
yeah,
so, I mean, no, I feel you what you're saying. So I think if you can get the right guys and the Purdue guys, and you mix it in right, and everybody's in shape and everybody's healthy, I think definitely you guys got a chance to win it.
come on, man. Look who won it, dude. That team was, we should have lost to Ohio State. I take full responsibility that lost to Ohio State. I watched, bro, Rapheal, I watched these dudes all year. I'm into basketball. Mavunga, this dude is doing step back 30 footers in Japan. Didn't take not 1-3 versus us, bro. You feel them? So you see the money shifts the player, which I didn't calculate, like people tensing up in that, you know what I mean? Like you can be tense, like miss a couple shots, but like they weren't even taking some of the shots they go for overseas, and you're on ESPN. I'm like, I just read it wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I feel you. But
really?
no, Kelsey, man, not from me watching you when I was in high school, me committing to Purdue, obviously, while you were there.
Yeah.
I've always respected the way you played. I've always, like you said, thought you were the better defender one of the better defenders on the team, one of the better defenders in the league. The way, I mean, one of the first big guards that I saw, big point guards that I saw that fed into my game a lot going into high school. But just fans out there, you got a lot of iconic moments with Purdue just throughout your career that people will never forget, memes, whatever. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. Anything you would like to tell the people out there?
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if I value my words enough to tell them something specific in such a way.
No, Kelsey, I appreciate it. Everybody out there, make sure you come up to the kickoff this weekend on Friday. We'll be at West Lafayette. Myself, AJ Hammonds. Make sure you come check us out. We're raising money for our camp foundation, to put our fall leagues and our winter league and our winter camps coming up. If you want to check us out, go to RaphealDavisBasketball.com. Appreciate everybody for listening. Until next week, Rapheal Davis Podcast, Boiler Up.